What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Kevin Freeman, what's going on, sir? Great to see you. Great to see you. Great to see y'all. Thank you for the love. Thank you. What's going on? What's going on? I am in this wonderful Atlanta traffic. Yes, I'm keeping my eyes on the road. So I might miss some of y'all's comments, but hey, what's going on? But I was sitting in the car and told y'all I was going to try and Periscope more, and I was just sitting here driving and thinking, well, not driving, doing a lot of stopping and going. That's what happens in Atlanta. What's going on, Betty Ann? Yes, I do. I certainly owe you some time. Those of you that haven't been to Atlanta, yeah, that's awesome. See up top, above the bridge, isn't that beautiful, beautiful skyline? And then below the bridge, that's what it actually is. It's a whole bunch of traffic all the doggone time. There's always traffic. No, for real. Like anytime between 6 a.m. and almost 9 or 10 p.m. it's pretty much like this. It's redunculous. Hey Lisa, I owe you a phone call. And we got some work to do. But I was just 2 days away. I'm 2 days away from turning 36, and I kind of took today to I mean, I did some work and did some business, but today I really kind of took a day for myself. Thank you for the happy birthday. That's early. Thank you. And the last couple of weeks have been just really interesting. Last really couple of months, actually the last year, actually the last 2 years have been really interesting for me. Interesting is an understatement. Actually, it's been a lot of shifting, a lot of moving, and some thoughts as I'm about to turn 36. Yeah, this kind of feels like a verbal diary. Yeah, so if you don't want to be a part of my thought process, you can jump out. But if you want to be in, come on in. So a couple things that I've thought about and I've kind of come to grips with. Number one, as much as our society would like to make you think it, 36 is not. It's not middle age, but it's not childish either. So often, everybody puts all the emphasis on the 20s, and hey, Moscow, thank you. But the 30s is really the opportunity. That's the place where you really get work done. I'm finding that. I really thought that, as in my 20s, I thought I would be a lot further along, and I've done some really great things. God has blessed me. I really started seeing the world in my 20s, and yeah, I've been on TV, I've been around the world, I've put out albums, sung on great stages. Somebody was calling me. Hopefully it didn't break it up. Yes, I am old, Lillian. Thank you. And there's some things that I'm really trying to do. I'm going to be starting in this next year. And I've had those moments where I kind of look at like the gospel industry and ministry overall, well, particularly the gospel industry, and I look at myself and I'm like, I think I'm a little too old to try and push out and do this stuff, I've gone a different route than a lot of other people from a music perspective. I didn't do a whole lot of politic, and I haven't done a whole lot of connecting and networking, just because I'm one of those people I've always been very, very committed to the church that I'm at, and I'm not the one that goes to a whole lot of musicals or concerts or workshops or conferences trying to make a deal and get close to folks and all that kind of stuff. I'm just not that dude. I'm really not. I've always been of the belief that, you know, you're supposed to be where you're supposed to be, and if you are faithful there, then God will promote you in His time. But then you kind of get this itching and burning to go and do some things as God is opening doors, and you're like, man, I think I'm a little too old for that. I'm a little old to be, jumping around the country, trying to grind it out. I got a wife, I got 2 kids, and I got a church that I'm committed to. I've got people that I'm committed to. But I'm starting to learn that what you think is the normal route isn't always God's route. What I've also learned, and I actually was going to do a Periscope on this a couple weeks ago, but I just didn't feel it was right to share until I guess now. But the difference, I've learned now that there are 2 sides of the word arrogance. And I have to say that because, as a transparent moment, I have fought all my life to not be seen or to outlive the moniker of arrogant. A lot of people have said that I was arrogant. Just because when I step in the room, if I'm supposed to sing, then I'm going to sing what I'm going to sing, and I believe I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. If I hear something, I'm going to give feedback on it. I'm sorry. God gave me a very weird ear, a very weird eye to see and hear things, and yeah, I'm one of those people that, hey, if it ain't right, I'm going to kind of tell you. But not because I want to be mean. I just want to kind of help. But but there are 2 sides of arrogance. So if you want to share this part with your followers, you definitely can. But I've found that there are 2 different sides of arrogance. The first side of arrogance, of course, is the one that we all see. That we all naturally kind of go towards, which is a person that is so self-absorbed that they don't care about anybody else, that they always feel that they are the smartest, they are the most talented, they are the most important, they always want to be the center of attention. That's one side of arrogance, but I'm learning that there's another side of arrogance, and the other side of arrogance is not believing that you are what God said you are. If God says that you are something special, and you, in your passive-aggressive, self-defeatist way, always say, I don't deserve that, I ain't nobody, I ain't nothing. We do that a lot in church. I ain't nobody, man. Hey, man, somebody come and try to tell you, you did a good job. And you know what? I'm just a simple preacher. I'm just a poor preacher trying to make it. That's what my dad used to always say. Or, I'm just a worship leader. I just do this. Hey, I ain't nobody. That false humility, is actually arrogance. Because if people are trying to sow into you, or if the Lord is trying to call you to higher things, and no matter what happens, you refuse to accept what God is saying to you, or you refuse to accept the love that people give to you, then you're actually arrogant, because you're saying the way I feel about myself is more important than what people say about me. It's a different way to look at it. But I think we kill ourselves, and we kill our ability to do amazing things, because we are constantly trying to live in this shell of, I need to always stay humble so that nobody thinks I'm arrogant. When the truth is, you are arrogant. God says you're great, and you say, no, I'm not. God continues to say, you're great. No, I'm not. And you refuse to accept what God is saying about you, what God sees in you, what people see in you, then you're arrogant. You are. You're saying that no matter what anybody says to you, however you see yourself is the most important. And I've spent a lot of my life doing that. In fact, it's one of the reasons why I've been so quiet the last couple of weeks, because I've been trying to break down some of those barriers and some of those walls within myself. I I am very much a perfectionist. I am very much a person that you can tell me, and I'll say it even simpler. I've been one of those people that doesn't know how to accept a compliment. Not because I think I'm so great that you can't pat me on the back enough, but because I'm one of those people that if you tell me I did great, I'm one of those people that's going, in my mind, I've already called out 10 to 15 things that were terrible. And no matter what you say to me to say I'm great, I wasn't going to receive it. Even more so, I've had a lot of people that wanted to connect with me or befriend me, or I've had a lot of people in particular that said they wanted to be mentored by me, and I refused to do it. And I, not just like I would say, I ain't going to do it. I ain't doing it. But to say that I don't deserve it. You know, I don't know what you would, how can I mentor you? I ain't nobody, whatever. And of course you have to know who you're assigned to and who's assigned to you. You can't accept every time that somebody says that they want to be connected to you, because you got to try the Spirit by the Spirit. But when God opens doors to you, when God truly opens doors to you, you have to be willing to say, the most humble thing to say is, God, whatever you want is what I want. And whatever you say about me is what I accept. That's true humility. And so that when people come to you and say how great you are, you can say, thank you, I appreciate that. God has really been doing some amazing things in me, and I'm really excited. I'm excited about the journey that I'm on. That statement in and of itself has been something that I have not been willing to say for several years, and I am learning to. I am getting into a phase of my life. Maybe I'm getting 36. Like, you know, folks say I'm 60 and I can just say what I want to say now. I think I'm getting into a phase of my life now where I'm just kind of like, hey, I ain't fighting stuff no more. I'm learning to accept the things that I do well. I am learning to take responsibility for the stuff that I don't do well, and not apologize for either. So, yeah, it's good. But yeah, 35 has been cool, man. Just driving. 35 has been cool. I released a single, my very first single in 35, and getting older is the scariest thing in the world. It sure is, buddy. Released my very first single in my 35th year. Went to Japan again. Went to South Africa this year. That was dope. It's been cool. It's been a cool year, and I'm excited to see what 36 holds. You know. But man, this traffic is terrible. How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? Y'all good? Hey, Pastor Coleman, I know you've been trying to connect with me, man. I'm sorry, dude. I love you, man. We met. Yes, we met in this 35th year. We sure did. I didn't get to meet you last weekend. Oh, Jen, you were at Unrestrained? Yo, so let me talk about Unrestrained. Unrestrained was redunculous. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you missed it. Unrestrained was redunculous. It was redunculous, y'all. It was redunculous. And it cost me. See, here we go deep again. Y'all ready? Let's go into the deep. Send me some hearts if you want to go into the deep. It was, I think it is sad. I actually think it's very sad that I'm connected to Pastor Coleman because, hey, man, I think it's very sad that we have to go to conferences and workshops to be able to have unrestrained moments in the presence of God. I think it's very, very sad. What happened last Friday and even the teaching that was done on Saturday was truly amazing. Todd Delaney smashed. Anthony and Brittany smashed. They came to New Birth and smashed 2 days later. Everybody that hit that stage was awesome. But I think it's very sad that people have to go to conferences to be able to get in, to really have unrestrained encounters. When the truth of the matter is, what's supposed to be happening in our temples, in our churches, every single Sunday, every single Wednesday, every time the saints of God get together, the presence of God is supposed to be there. And when the presence of God comes in, there should be absolute freedom. Now, I recognize that churches are businesses. I am not naive to that fact. Not at all. I've been in church all my life. My dad was a pastor for 34 years. I've been singing in church literally all my life. I recognize that there are bills that have to be paid. I recognize that, lights got to be turned on. I recognize all that stuff. Salaries got to be paid. Glory to God. I thank you for for the fact that I can do full-time ministry and be sold into for that. But I also recognize that when people come together, particularly when people come to church, like, what's the agenda that we're pushing? What should it all really be about? Every single time the saints of God come together, it should be, the Bible says that when 2 or 3 are gathered together, there he will be in the midst. So when we come together, should not our only purpose be manifesting the presence of God and getting to the place that however that happens, then it's okay. We spent the last 20 years, 25 years, we've been in the superstar personality phase of the church. And I'm not saying anything against pastors. Y'all hear me? I'm just a transparent talker. But we've been in this superstar personality, and it's not just pastors. Some of y'all can only worship when your favorite worship leader sings. Some of y'all can only worship when an artist comes to church. Some of y'all can only get in when your favorite choir is singing your favorite song. It's a superstar personality type of thing, particularly in the black church, and it's sad. It's sad. I said this actually in a senior staff meeting once, about a year and a half ago, and people thought I was crazy, but it's the truth. People were really excited that everybody felt good about a particular service, or that the pastor was happy that day. And I just kind of had to stand up and say, yo, do y'all not realize that there's only 2 things that are supposed to matter when we get together in church? Jesus is supposed to be lifted high, and people are supposed to be changed. And if we didn't do both of those things, even if the pastor's happy, even if people leave happy, even if the offering buckets are full, if you didn't do those 2 things, if Jesus' name wasn't lifted high and he was seated in his rightful place, and people left better than what they came in, not hyper, not more emotional than when they came in, but better than when they came in. If they didn't leave out changed from the way that they came in, guess what? We failed. It's a failure. It's an absolute failure. Because if anybody comes into, like, I'm minister of music at New Birth, if anybody comes into any service and leaves out unchanged, I failed. We failed. It sucks. We failed. And views on homosexuality in the church, I mean, we can go into that. But let me finish this part right here. I really would love to get to the place, and I believe that we are definitely in the dispensation now, where where churches are going to have to make a decision. They're going to have to make a decision whether they are houses of God or houses of business. And I'm here to tell you that houses of business are going out of business. Because the economy is about to shift, and it's about to flip. And no matter how much you go after money, ain't gonna be enough money to keep you rolling. But if you are a house of God, God is responsible for paying for that which he orders. So if you go after God and you're really doing the work that he's called that particular house to do, and that particular pastor to do, that particular ministry to do, you'll find no issues. You'll find no issues whatsoever. So yeah, that was my thought coming out of Unrestrained. Unrestrained was really, really dope. It was amazing. It was beautiful. I really, and accountability among senior leaders is coming. It is, Kevin. But here's the funny thing: the accountability. I don't think the accountability is actually going to come from physical people. I think that God is going to begin showing His hand very strongly, and it's just going to kind of shift stuff. It's going to be. Oof. When God shows His hand, it's not a pretty picture. So it can be, but it's not always, because He's a God of blessings and justice. Go to Amos. I think it's Amos chapter 3. I think that's what it is. He talks about, I want you to be houses of justice. Let His justice reign. Anyway, I miss seeing you too. You can barely see me now because I'm driving in the dark. 6:30, I should still make it. I'm on my way to choir rehearsal, by the way. But yeah, you be stepping and you be doing your Chicago stepping all the time. Thank y'all for the hearts. I really appreciate it. I'm still at the same church. Ain't goes nowhere. Ain't goes nowhere. There we go. Sing. No, I'm not gonna be singing right now. Because of this past weekend. Because Unrestrained, I was the vocal director for Unrestrained, and we actually worshiped for, we literally sang for about 3.5 hours straight, which was awesome, but it is very tiring. And then I left from there. The next morning, I went to a couple of classes, and then I had to go do a leadership training for our college ministry. So I talked during that, and then Anthony and Brittany came to New Birth on Sunday, and I ended up singing background with them and leading worship. So I sang about a total of about 2 hours on Sunday between all the stuff. So that was a whole bunch of singing. So my voice is still at about, it's been coming back. It's probably at about 75%. So I'm trying to only sing when I have to sing. But I appreciate all this love. Thank y'all. It's great. Thank you. I'm talking about rehearsal. Sorry, technology. Okay. Sing at rehearsal. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Yeah. So, just to reiterate, those of you that may have missed it, about to turn 36 in a couple days. And I'm going to be going after stuff a little bit harder than I've ever gone after them before, because I'm choosing not to be afraid, and I'm choosing not to be driven by what people think or by my own insecurities. I'm just going to do what God tells me to do. I'm excited about that. It's dope. Yeah. So let me focus on driving. I'm supposed to meet with somebody at 6:50, so I've got 15 minutes to get to church. And I do want to be safe, and I've gotten out of the traffic. Sing sweet. Yes, ma'am. Sweet potato souffle. Hey. Ooh. Yes, sir. Thank you for the sweet potato souffle. Y'all be safe, all right? I'm gonna catch up with y'all a little bit later. I love all of y'all. Some of y'all are old phone calls. Y'all just keep texting and calling. I promise I'm gonna call. I promise. Like I told you, I know one of my faults. I know one of my flaws. And one of my flaws is being able to get back to people in a reasonable time frame. I'm trying to get better. I am. So, and I got 13 people on here. I got 11 people on here. People are dropping off. For those of you that are still on, I'm going to ask you, please pray for my mom. Her name is Dolores. And I would really appreciate your prayers for my mom. Thanks. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.